Everything the media said was a lie.
Noah Johnson, who has been missing now for 2 weeks. This is the little baby's picture.
Investigators say he has a medical condition that could get worse without proper medication. We're told Noah's mother, Camilla Johnson, took him out of the hospital.
Who put out the Amber Alert?
The state of Texas, CPS, they put it out for a child by the name of Noah.
So they changed your son's name?
They changed his name.
And put out a Amber Alert on Noah Johnson?
Noah Johnson.
Let's go before February 6th. Let's go with the initial issue. What is the initial issue?
I have 4 boys. I have a teenager, an 18-year-old, and he's basically going through a phase where he's teenaging. One night he decides he's going to walk out the house and not come back for 24 hours, basically do whatever he wants to do. To stage the scenario to fit his story, he ends up calling the police before he gets home so that when he gets back in, they can arrive during the time of the discipline, basically. You know what I'm saying? During the time of the redirection. And I was basically at a point with him because it had been ongoing. So I was basically at a point with him where I was telling him, it's time for you to go to Kansas City so that you can be with your daddy's side of the family where there are men. Because at this point, I can't do anything with you. You're not going to disrespect me in my house. And so basically what he does is he calls the police and he's already out. I got him out. And when the police arrive, I refuse to answer the door. I stand on my Fifth Amendment. So 2 days later, CPS arrives. My son is 17 at the time, so my question is, why are you here? This is a grown man, And so basically, I refuse to speak with them. And during this time of me refusing to speak with them, they keep coming to my door. They sitting in the parking lot, watching my apartment, waiting for me to come home. They going into the office, asking the office, what's going on in my house? Do I still live there? So it's basically to a point to where they are stalking and harassing me because I refuse to participate with this investigation that they've created. And as a result of this, I put the commissioner, her name is Stephanie Muth. I put the commissioner on notice and I told her, your agents are harassing me. They have no reason to be here. You have no jurisdiction over me. I stand the ground on my Fifth Amendment. And basically, I'm letting you know that I do not want to do business with your privatized corporation because CPS is a private business. They refuse to adhere to that. They like, well, whatever. So different agents start to come. The first agent who came, name was Philip Leach. The second agent was a supervisor. Her name was Jennifer Dominguez. And Jennifer Dominguez, by this time, my oldest son, he's in Kansas City, but yet they're still going into the office. They're still coming to my door. They're still parked outside my house, watching my home, going to different addresses that they have on file for me. At this point, my baby, Mayani, he's been admitted to the hospital. And my mother calls me in the hospital and she says, my oldest, he was on the phone with CPS. I said, well, how is she calling him? It was about 9:00 at night. So Jennifer Dominguez took it up on herself to call my 17-year-old son to ask him questions without parental authorization, without consent, basically to find out information about my baby being in the hospital. And so that's where it really all stems from, was me refusing to give them authority over me and refusing to participate in a fictitious investigation that they created about a 17-year-old who refuses to follow the rules in the house. And that's where it all began.
So with the 17-year-old here in Kansas City, they still reached out?
They called him from Texas.
From Texas?
On his personal cell phone.
You said your youngest was in the hospital?
Yes, he was in the hospital. We were here, we came down here for the holidays around December 23rd. And while we were here, I noticed that he was having some breathing issues.
Here as in Kansas City?
Kansas City. We came from Texas to Kansas City. And I noticed that he was having some breathing issues. He wasn't acting his normal rambunctious self because he's a really happy, really energetic baby. So what I did was we had an Airbnb. And so I called the ambulance because, I'm like, breathing issues are serious. I don't want to risk it, And so they basically came and they were like, well, we think he's okay. And you can take him to the hospital if you want, but we don't see anything wrong. But me being a mother and me knowing my child and me listening to him breathing, I'm knowing that there's more to it. So I go to Overland Park Children's Mercy. And they basically try to say the same thing, but they have us waiting for a long period of time, you know? And I'm like, I'm not doing this. They're not coming to look at him. We're just sitting. So we ended up leaving. And the next day I got on the road and I went back to Texas because I wanted medical care. I wanted to go to his primary care, you know? I get him to his primary care from the time, as soon as we get off the road, I'm going into the primary care office. They ordered me to send him to the emergency room, which is UTMB. So I take him to UTMB. They're like, oh, he has fluid on his chest. So they put him on oxygen. They say, right, he needs to go to Texas Children's Hospital. And so that's how he ended up in Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, Texas, where they say they put him in cardiac ICU in the congestive heart failure unit. So basically what they had done was they diagnosed him with what was called a rhinovirus. And basically through the first evaluation, they said, well, he has fluid on his chest and the fluid is stopping his EF rate. The EF rate is basically the erectile fraction, which is your heart pumping. It's supposed to open and close, but he's at 11%. So we want to put him on a medication called Milrinone. And then they had they try to have him on like 14 different medications from the time they brought him in.
And how old is
at this time, he's only 11 months. When I took him to the hospital, I dropped them off at home. They picked him up on an ambulance from the UTMB, right? So when I went back to pick my boys up and we arrived to the hospital, I found out that the first medication that they gave my 11-month-old son was fentanyl. And I was not there. I didn't consent to the medication. When I found out they had gave him fentanyl, I said, well, you don't give him medications without my consent.
Correct.
So I'm like, and especially fentanyl, because all I heard about fentanyl was that people die from it. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea, you know what I'm saying, the magnitude of it, but the fact that, and they try to play it down. We know how to administer. I'm like, I really don't care what you know how to administer. You don't give my child narcotics without my consent. You don't give my child anything.
Yep.
So
what hospital is this again?
This is Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, Texas. When they came in to do like the billing and the consent for medication, consent for care and things like that. Yeah, she bring it in on the backside where the signature line is. And then I flip it over and I'm like, this is what they used to doing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So basically with me asking these questions, me reading documents, me refusing medications, me filing complaints already, I'm a problem for these people, you know? So, he ends up, Mayani's getting better as time progresses because I want to also put on notice that during the time of his stay, I'm still coming in and giving him holistic treatments. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving him sea moss. I'm giving him coriander tea because I'm researching what can help the heart function. You know what I'm saying? Because medications are a treatment. They don't heal. God gave us what we need on this earth to heal us. Right. And I'm going to do the research and order what I need to do to heal my son because he's no longer getting the breast milk from me anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I need to be sure to incorporate whatever it is that he needs to get better. So I'm giving him sea moss, fresh pressed juices, fresh red juices. I'm doing all of these things, right? While all of this is going on. So we coming down because I started rejecting medications, started taking them off. So we went from about 14 medications. So now we're down to 4. They move him to basically where the floor is where children have similar diagnosis as him. So he's there, but he's continuously getting better. Every day he's getting better, but every day they're refusing to acknowledge the fact that he's getting better. They keep coming in trying to give me doom and gloom, but I'm not receiving it. I'm not on the receiving side of it, you know? Yeah. I'm like, I speak healing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be in fear behind what you tell me in this place. During this time that he's on the observation floor. Well, he's not on the observation floor. He's on the diagnosis floor where everybody has the same conditions and the doctors specialize in what they claim he have, which is they come up with saying he has cardiomyopathy. Cardiomyopathy is a heart deformity that a child is born or that anyone can be born with. But they say he has little ridges around his heart, not rips, not tears, not any malfunctions, nothing. He has little ridges. So we believe that he has cardiomyopathy.
Believe? They say they believe?
Yeah, they believe.
They don't know, but they
don't know. Everything at this point is still just, we trying to figure it out.
Right.
It's a practice. That's why they call it a medical practice, because all they are doing is practicing what they get from their medical Google. What they made it as if was my child was near death, needing immediate emergency care, and that he was basically being neglected and endangered by his mother. But in all actuality, he was being protected by his mother from the systems that wanted to use him for medical research and to kidnap him.
So they just medicating.
They just trying to medicate him and observe him.
Not researching, not trying to get to the bottom of them. It's just give them medication.
Just give him medication. That's where we are. That's all they doing.
Right. And so the day that you left, how did that go down?
So the day that I leave, so once Hari Priya come in and they tell me we don't know what's wrong with him, we don't know, and I tell them we leaving, I'm going to get a second opinion, they basically started trying to tell me, no, you can't leave without medication. So I tapped in on my TikTok live. What people don't know is that I'm sovereign. Basically, sovereign is not a sovereign citizen. Basically, sovereign is basically rule your life by the law of God. You know what I'm saying? And anything when it comes to dealing with the man-made laws and statutes and policies, you deal it by way of the Constitution. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
The hospital is basically a fictitious corporation. A business is a dead fiction. You are a living soul. You know what I'm saying? And I have a large following, and I teach people this. I help people fight cases. I teach law on another level. You feel me? So this is not just an attack of me. This is not just a basic attack of, a woman and her child. This woman's telling the truth. She's got droves of people watching her, listening to her, following her. Oh, we got to do something. So I ended up giving her some legal documentation, basically letting her know this is a fictitious entity and I got the right to leave this hospital whenever I so choose with my offspring. And they just started sending in different nurses, like trying to deter me, because I told them to give me an AMA form. And basically that's against medical advice. But they on live. So they're like, oh, if you get an AMA form, they send in the social worker in. If you get an AMA form, we're going to call CPS. Tell CPS what's up. I already didn't put them on notice. Right?
Right.
So Hari Priya comes up. She said, what's your name and what's your number? This is after I done gave her all of this legal documentation. So I give her my name and my number because they're still trying to pressure me into getting this medication. The FBI took Mayani. Mayani went missing for a month. I'm not dealing with nothing insurance-wise right now. Only thing that's important to me is getting my baby home and getting him in a healthy environment to where I can care for him properly and move on to the next venture. I'll handle the insurance when I get home because I know he has it. That's why it wasn't an issue for me. Get up the next morning and something says, go get your baby.
What morning is this?
Because I told them 2 days. This is on about January 27. So when Hari Priya came in, it was about the 29th. On the 30th, that's when I woke up and some said, go get him now. I told them take that because they still had the central line in going into his main artery. Right. And he was no longer getting any of that medication, but they kept saying, we want to leave it in just in case the medication, in case his heart starts to do that again. And they were drawing blood through it so it would prevent them from having to poke and prick them so much. Right. So that night before I left, I said, y'all taking that out. Because it was a certain amount of time that you can leave this central line in before it went bad and could cause infection. Right. But they were trying to leave it in. When I kept asking, I'm like, when are you coming to take it out? They're like, oh, the person, they're not going to do it. They want to keep it in. But keep in mind, today's the day that it's supposed to come out because now it's at risk for infection and all of this stuff. And plus, I'm done. I told them, y'all better go get somebody to take that out. And y'all going to do it right now. What are you talking about? And I said, well, we might still need to get labs. We might need, if whatever you needed to get, you better get it today because y'all not getting no more blood from my son. Now, he's been here from January 5th to January 30th at this point. He was there for 25 days. Whatever blood you didn't get, whatever test you didn't get, whatever you need to get, you better get it, and that's it. You're not poking my son no more. You're not doing any of that. We are about to go. So they take the central line out. I wake up the next morning, something says, go get him. We pull up. I got the cart. I walk in. I'm like, we're getting ready to go. It's time to go. So I'm getting him ready. And then here comes Hari Priya and Christina Bishop. And they say, well, we don't think it's safe for you to take him right now. Without his medication, he could be in trouble. He could be unsafe. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? without his medication. Nobody's come back. I said, so what is it that needs to get done here that we can't do from outside? At this point, we can be outpatient. And so basically it sums up to being, we don't know why the acute issue happened where he retained fluid. We don't know why. The catheter people came and they said that the PDA is filled with muscle mass, so he doesn't need any surgery. But can we keep him here to observe him and to do genetic testing on him?
So when they put the Amber Alert out here, you weren't even in Missouri?
I wasn't even here. I was gone already.
Where were you heading?
I went to Minneapolis. While we were here, something said, go to Minneapolis, And plus I had to do my research because I'm still seeking asylum, but I'm also still seeking my second opinion for my child.
Right.
Because I haven't neglected my child's health at all. But it is you who are hunting me like a slave, who are preventing me from providing my child the care that they need, So I go to Minneapolis because I researched that they have the best children's hospitals and they specialize in specific heart conditions. So this is why I'm in Minneapolis. And plus it's a woman's state, so they say. So when I get to Minneapolis, this is where it all took a turn. My kids don't drink faucet water. So we were packing light. So in the Airbnb that we were at specifically, we had ran out of water. So basically I had everything that we needed. So I was going down to the car because my son's like, Mom, I'm not drinking faucet water. I am not drinking that. You feel me? And I'm just like, oh God, okay, I'm going to go get some waters and everything, So I go downstairs to replenish what we need. And I see a white Tahoe with 4 Caucasian men in it. And I'm so used to hitting my button because I'm in the white. They got the white Denali. They saying it's a Tahoe, but it's a Denali. They got that all on the news. So right. The people that are looking for me are in the same kind of car as me. And so when I hit the corner, because I'm dressing like a Muslim, I got everything. And not only this, during this time, they looking for a boy. They saying a little boy is missing, but I'm dressing Mayani like a girl because this is the type of time I'm on. And basically when I push the button, they knew it was me. They hop out and they're like, where are your kids? I said, where are your kids? You know what I'm saying? What are we doing here? We need to make sure, does he have medication? Now I'm quiet.
So they drove all the way up there to ask, we got medication.
I said, who are you? Name and badge number. We're the FBI. Let me see it. Because they got on regular clothes. So the FBI is on me. They apprehend me unlawfully, So they say, can we go in and get the kids and, go talk to the kids and everything? And I'm like, well, at this point, I know y'all ain't about to let me go. So, yeah. But see, I didn't raise my kids. I say, them people ain't your friend. Don't let them come in here and don't ever be deceived by people that you do not know. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I told them we don't talk to them. So when they got upstairs, my kids wouldn't say nothing. And they said, well, can you get your kids to tell us your name? Tell them their name? I said, no. And they basically said, well, why don't you want your kids to talk to them? I said, because they got the right to remain silent. And they know that. And they're going to exercise that. So I'll let you figure it out. So they take me to Hennepin County Detention Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where they charged me with child endangerment. And also, too, they didn't have a warrant to arrest me because I'm asking, where's the warrant? Because one of the FBI agents said, we don't have a warrant. I'm listening to him talking. I said, oh, you don't have a warrant? Then you're unlawfully detaining me. You're kidnapping me. We have a warrant. But when they give me my paperwork, my charge is extradition without a warrant. So the thing with me was they come to me, they apprehend me. They got me locked up, and then they come to me and they say, we need you to sign this document so that Texas can come and pick you up. I said, you need me to sign? Once again, you want me to voluntarily do something. I'm not signing anything. We want you to sign an extradition waiver. And the extradition waiver reads that Camila Antoinette Johnson, all caps, fled the state of Texas after endangering a child and hereby waives all of her rights to be extradited back to the state of Texas. Waive all of what rights? And first of all, who is this all caps name?
Right.
That's a fiction.
That's a corporation.
That's a corporation. So I'm going in the courtroom. I'm telling them I'm the living flesh and blood woman. Present to me the warrant. Where is the victim? What is the nature and cause of the crime? Because I'm pro se. They try to give me a public pretender. I don't want that. I'm defending myself because I ain't committed no crime. Mm-hmm. And so basically I refuse to sign it. I keep refusing. Oh, well, we're going to issue a rendition warrant from the governor. Tell Greg I said, what's up? I'm on that type of time. In the meantime, the FBI take my son I'm locked up. After the FBI took Mayani went missing for a